I have some documents I'd just like to pass around, if I could. Speaking off of this, and these are just aerial photos of a lot of FW Webb sites in Massachusetts. And they have a total of 80 sites, and they have 27 in Massachusetts. And like many others, I'd like to say this is a wonderful business. It's a great resource for all of us, businesses, consumers, when we go and buy their products. But like many others, I have to agree that this is not the right location, unfortunately, for this particular development. It belongs quite clearly, as others have said, in a more suitable location, which is generally what's happened around the Commonwealth. Thank you, Cy. So I have a little presentation. I'll try to get through it quickly and not repeat anything we've already heard. Again, Webb's an old company, not quite as old as Salem's founding company, but
Tim, before you get into this, how lengthy do we have in mind here?
It's not going to be more than 5 minutes, I suspect, okay. Maybe less.
We'll indulge it.
But I didn't time it, so hopefully I'll beat that. So right now in Massachusetts, FW Webb has 16 warehouse facilities, warehousing, let's call them distribution centers, and then they have, and these often include a showroom, and then they have smaller supply stores that aren't as large in terms of warehousing and showrooms and what have you. And the current proposal here in Salem, and let me see if I can hopefully move this forward. Excuse me. Cy, can you move that forward, or am I doing something wrong here? There we go. So this is a little bit of the information I'm giving you so you can follow along. The proposal here in Salem is for a 40,000 square foot warehouse, distribution center, retail showroom, and sales facility on a site adjacent to their existing North River Canal Corridor location. And in fact, their current location is in the North River Canal Corridor. So for better or worse, that facility couldn't actually be rebuilt in that location, but it could be converted to housing. So that's an option, and it's still open to us. Actually, even a joint, it can be more than one thing. Last point is on this page is that it requires a significant zoning change. This is obvious to everyone to build this new facility, and B4 is suggested. I would like to just check on one point that was made earlier, which is I believe the city, as a municipality, by right, is allowed to have a parking lot and any other municipal facility on that location, as can a church be built there. You can check the zoning rules. I believe that's correct. And I understand they want to do wholesale and automotive on that location, but my reading of the B4 zone actually indicates that it's a 50-50 use. You cannot have more than 50% of that facility as a wholesale facility. So not to give them legal advice, they have good counsel for that, but it seems to me the only way you could do it is under a building supply facility, which is actually also under the B4. But that's for another time. But so far, that's what I've heard. I believe both the parking is permitted, and I'm not sure about this wholesale automotive explanation for the use. So the next page, and I hope this works. There we go. These are the 27 wholesale facilities. On the left-hand side are wholesale businesses with showrooms, which is what's proposed here. And on the right-hand side are the smaller facilities. They're supply facilities. That's what we call them. That's what the company calls them. And you'll see Salem starred down there. And it's difficult to read, but the new footprint of this building is approximately 2.5 times the size of the existing building that they're in, which is very large, but it doesn't cover up as much space. So to the next page, please. Let's see. Okay, one more. There we go. Okay, facts. I just want to, these are interesting, and they'll sort of put this proposal in perspective. 26 of the 27 facilities are located in commercial or industrial park areas. Salem is the only one that is not in the Commonwealth. 25 of the 27 facilities do not immediately abut residential neighborhoods. The only other exception is Dedham. Okay? 24 of the 27 facilities are located distantly from residential dwellings. Salem, Dedham, and New Bedford are the only ones that are not. 21 of the 27 facilities are adjacent to similarly sized or larger commercial buildings. Salem is clearly not, even if you use the footprint of the existing facility. 16 of the 27 Webb facilities are close to major roadways or highways. Now, Bridge Street is anticipated to be larger, but in that particular area, it's a one-lane road in both directions with no divider. And so, and frankly, Bridge Street is just cannot really be called a highway. Let's see. Sorry, one more. Come on, side. Okay. Of the three facilities that Webb, out of the 27 in the Commonwealth, that Webb has near residential dwellings, currently they are all smaller supply-only stores. Okay. They don't have showrooms. They don't have large warehouse facilities that you can go in, pick up stuff, pull out. So this is a different type of facility, and like I said before, none of them exist in this type of location. So Salem's, and the other problem here is that Salem has no nearby building supply stores unless you can include carpeting or something like that. So this is not near other places where you would go to make these type of purchases. You'd go up to Highland Avenue, you'd go up to Swampscott Road, Traders Way, that's where you find this type of facility, or you go out further on 114. And so I just say, of these, and I highlight this, of these three, only the proposed Salem location directly abuts a substantial residential neighborhood or properties, and most importantly, a National Register district, and included in it a National Historic Landmark. So these are very rare. They're 2,500 in the country. So it's not something I think we should be messing with lightly, making a zoning change like this that will even more severely impact. Sorry, side. Can we shift one more? Thanks. So I'm just going to give you a little, we don't have to go through in detail, you can cover this, but this is just more information about each one of these facilities, the Dedham facility, the New Bedford facility, and the Salem facility. The reason I give you those is these are all the small facilities that are somewhat near residential areas. All the rest are not. So this is the information. This sort of describes them. You can read that. I won't go through each detail here. You have them. And then the conclusions that I think we should come to. Webb does not typically locate this kind of full-service facility in this kind of setting. In fact, I think it's probably good business practice not to, and they're certainly following that practice on a regular basis. There is no Webb facility in Massachusetts in a location that is comparable to this site in Salem. We would all welcome this new facility, frankly. We really would, but there are a number of other locations, one or two have already been mentioned, and I would specifically highlight Traders Way, Swampscott Road, and Highland Avenue. Now, I understand the city has tried to help Webb, I heard for several years. I know that some of the locations that I'm describing here have been in development for over decades, actually, and I would have thought that at some point FW Webb would have figured out we wanted a different, more capable facility. Where else should we look? And where else should we look here in Salem? They've moved before to a better location, and I think they can do it again. And there are good economic reasons to have it in a different location. So I'll conclude there, and thanks very much, and I hope I stayed under 5.